Welcome to Aging on the Suncoast. I'm your host, Jason Martino. Many seniors face malnutrition or hunger issues on a daily basis. Critical decision-making takes place regularly on how to prioritize a limited income, and for those who are homebound, these individuals face isolation and lack access to food resources such as grocery stores or food pantries. In 2017, Meals on Wheels America reported that 1.1 million Florida seniors are living alone. 757,000 are threatened by hunger, and 1.6 million live within or near the poverty line. The Area Agency on Aging of Pasco and Pinellas partners with organizations that serve seniors within their home and within their community. Without these partners, we could not achieve our shared vision to promote independence with better nutrition and also work to eliminate senior hunger. On the first half of our show, and to help us understand what types of resources are available to promote better nutrition and de-isolation, we've invited Diane Cunningham, the Senior Services Manager with the Pasco County Senior Services Division, and Catherine Green, the Nutrition Services Director with Neighborly Care Network. On the second half of the show, and in the spirit of Volunteer Appreciation Month, we'll bring back Diane and introduce Sandy Narin, the Director of Marketing with Neighborly Care Network, so we can celebrate volunteerism and how critical these individuals are to nutrition programs. Diane, welcome back to the show.
Oh, I'm pleased to be here.
It's been a long time since we've covered this topic, huh?
Yes, it has.
Yeah, and Catherine, you're new today, but we welcome you to the show as well.
Thank you.
So we're going to cover a lot of cool things today. We're going to cover senior nutrition, and we're going to talk about hunger a little bit, and then we're going to talk about volunteerism in the second half. But let's give our audience a little bit understanding of who we are and what our agencies do. So Diane, I'm going to start with you, if you don't mind.
No.
Tell us a little bit about Pasco Senior Services Division.
Well, we've been around for a number of years, providing meals and services to seniors in Pasco County. Actually, Pasco County Senior Services is a program of Pasco County government. Mm-hmm. And through the grant money that we receive from the Area Agency on Aging, we're able to provide up to 1,000 meals a day by either providing it to the people who come to our senior centers, our congregate meal sites, and or if they're homebound and frail and unable to get their meals themselves.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And the Area Agency on Aging has had a long-standing relationship with Pasco County government for a very long time.
Yes, they have. Yeah. And besides the meal programs, we provide nutrition education and, more critically, nutrition counseling to these elders who maybe just lack information about keeping healthy while they age.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing what kind of information is out there, and I'm glad that you're in a position you can share it with them. And we're going to spend a great deal of time today talking about those individual programs and how they positively affect seniors. So. Catherine, welcome to our show again, and the Area Agency on Aging has had a very long-standing relationship with Neighborly Care Network as well. And but tell our audience a little bit about who Neighborly Care Network is and what they do primarily.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Well, Neighborly Care Network, we are a private, not-for-profit company. We've been around for over 50 years in Pinellas County. Many people don't know us by Neighborly Care Network, but we actually created the first nationally funded Meals on Wheels program, and everybody knows who Meals on Wheels are. Yeah. And we also led to the first adult daycare program. So we've been providing wonderful senior services to the county for a number of years, and we currently have 2 adult daycare programs in the county, and we have 9 congregate meal sites throughout the county. So we serve many different communities, and we're always looking for opportunities to help out and to serve other individuals, and we have numerous different Meals on Wheels routes throughout the county.
Yeah, we're so fortunate to have these rich resources in Pasco and Pinellas County. Neighborly has been around since the older American Americans Act, and like you said, has been the one of the first providers in the nation to provide those home delivery meals, and we just think that's incredible. And then also with Pasco, it's just such a rich history of providing very neat services. Service Center, where are you located at? We're going to, during the break and at the end of the show, we're going to run graphics that give contact information too, but where's your headquarters located at?
Okay, our main headquarters is in Clearwater. It's on Evergreen Avenue, and then we have different congregate sites. We've got 7 of them. I'll try to give them to you off the top of my head, but
well, they're spread out throughout the
yeah,
county, right?
Throughout the county.
Yeah,
yes.
that's a whole lot to remember to each of those addresses on there. And Diane, you have a couple offices where people can approach senior services?
Absolutely. Our main location is at 8600 Galen Wilson Boulevard in Port Richey. And we also have a senior center congregate dining site there, as well as 5 other centers throughout the county.
Yeah. And the cool thing about your county, the geography is a little bit different in our planning and service
Yes.
areas. So Pinellas is long north to south or south to north. And then obviously in Pasco, it's long east to west. And you guys do a great job of adequately covering all of that geography within your respective counties. Yes. So, and we'll talk a little bit today, but we're going to offer the audience some contact information. So if they do inquire about what's closest to them, your staff will be able to let them know. So let's go back to nutrition. Thank you for sharing that information about your organizations too. Let's go back to nutrition. One of the buzzwords that we hear in the community, and I think it's pretty accurate, is the word food insecurity. The Area Agency on Aging is a part of a lot of different coalitions and groups to try to take a look at that a little bit. But Diane, why don't you help us understand what that means to you?
Well, simply, Jason, it's a lack of access to healthy and nutritious and safe food for a period of time. I'm not just talking for one meal, but as someone struggles, it's important that they get the nutrition that they need, and when they can't get it, they're considered food insecure. My understanding is that 1 in 6 seniors in America are food insecure.
That's crazy.
And that's why our programs exist, to help these people who are unable to get that healthy food and safe food.
Yeah. Yeah. Any different interpretation, Catherine, from what you know?
That's an excellent way to describe it.
Yeah. One of the other ways that I've heard, I'm just going to pigtail on or dovetail really on what you said, is access to food, and a lot of times transportation or a lack thereof plays a role in that.
Correct.
And so if they don't have, if they're not able to drive anymore, and I'm talking about predominantly the senior population, and or they don't understand how to use fixed route transit or paratransit or whatnot too, then that creates a food insecure environment as well.
Yes, it does.
And we have a lot of great people around both of our counties that are trying to put a stop to that. We have the Tampa Bay Network to End Hunger.
Correct.
Created a large food map of the Tampa Bay area to kind of identify those pockets, so we can go out there and we can outreach. That's what we do best, right? We go out there and we target individuals and tell them about all the cool things that we can offer to kind of reduce that insecurity on there. Is it prevalent in our planning and service area, food insecurity?
It sure is. In Pasco County, we're a little bit different than Pinellas County in that Pinellas is greatly urban, and in Pasco County we have large pockets of rural areas, and being able to get to a grocery store that's miles and miles away is a problem for some seniors. And it is very prevalent in Pasco County because the poverty levels are also very low.
Yeah, and Pinellas is no stranger to low poverty levels, are they?
That's true. That's true. We see the same statistics, and we also see a lot of elderly that basically don't have the ability to get out, and a lot of re-hospitalizations where they're too sick or they're too feeble to get out and care for themselves, and they just need that assistance. Yeah.
Another particular piece of nutrition that's specific to elderly and sometimes kids and older adults in general is food and nutrition dietary considerations. Given your history as a registered dietitian, do you want to talk a little bit about what kind of things should seniors, or what do they consider when it comes to diets?
Well, as we get older, our needs do change, and it really boils down to the individual, and everyone's different, so you need to do a nutritional assessment, and that is one of the things that we offer through each one of our programs. Everyone is individually looked at, but it does change in terms of calories, protein, and hydration. Hydration is very important also. But you want to look at the big picture, and you want to make sure that everything's being addressed, and you want to make sure that you are having a meal each day. And that is our main focus, making sure that people are being taken care of on a daily basis. And that is our primary goal, because sometimes with a lot of our population and a lot of our clients, unfortunately, that is their only meal. And that's what we're trying to avoid.
Yeah, and we live in Florida, so hydration is pretty darn important.
Yes,
right?
yes.
I also think the necessity for fruits and vegetables maybe in that person's diet too.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and that makes a huge difference in terms.
So we might go back to you, Catherine, if you don't mind, to talk a little bit more specifically about those things. But I do want to spend some time on our actual programs, and that's the gist really of our first half, is to let our audience know what you guys do professionally and the types of programs that we do. So Diane, I'm going to go back to you if you don't mind. And I know that there's 4 unique programs that fall under the Older American sector, and we're going to talk about 2 with you, and then we're going to talk about the other 2 with Catherine. The first one that I wanted to kind of open people's eyes on now is the congregate meal program. You know, we have acronyms that we use in our world, and we're not going to do that today with our audience. They wouldn't understand probably what we're talking about. But congregate meals is extremely important, and could you tell us why, what these programs are and why?
Well, congregate meals are for the more mobile senior, the senior who can get to the senior center either by, if they have their own transportation, a neighbor or friend drives them, or they come by public transportation, or even paratransit. But it is, for a lot of seniors that we serve, it's a home away from home. It's a place where they find companionship and activities that stimulate their minds and bodies.
Yeah.
And I have seen many seniors, this is their only friends that they have. This is the only social contact that they have. But on top of that, you get a great nutritious meal that meets the 1/3 RDA. And it's exactly portioned so that you put it in front of them, they're getting that 1/3 RDA.
Yep.
So if they don't eat it, they don't eat all of it, they're not getting the full 1/3, but we do give them, at least provide them with that.
So they're getting a great meal, they're able to socialize, they're in an environment that's open and friendly to them. And then you have the inverse of that too. We have our home delivered meal program.
Correct.
Can you spend
Sure.
30 seconds on that maybe?
And those people are homebound, just as the word says. They're unable to get out. Maybe they get out to get to their mailbox or even to the doctor, but mostly they are at home. And they lack the safe, nutritious food, as most food insecure people do. And this gives them an opportunity to have that nutritious meal at home. And these drivers that deliver the meals, the home delivery drivers or the Meals on Wheels drivers and/or volunteers that deliver the meals to home, they act as a safety net for those people, because a lot of times the driver is the only social contact the homebound person may have. So in addition to getting a nutrition meals, it's like a check-in.
Yep.
Is that they can see that this person's well and okay, and if not, they can report it back.
All right, thank you. Let's talk a little bit about nutrition counseling.
Okay.
And what an asset to go along with home delivered meals or congregate meals. Can you explain a little bit what happens during a counseling episode? What's the intent?
Absolutely. Well, we look again at the individual themselves, and we focus on what is the goal and what's going on with the individual. For instance, did the individual just come out of the hospital? Did they come from a nursing home? Are they on a special diet? Are they on a regular diet? And we develop a goal for that specific individual, and we look at the focus and their education level, and we basically gear the education to what are they going to understand and what do they want it to be.
Yeah.
And we just kind of feed off that, and we might have follow-up depending on how well things are going, and they can always call and get back to us and follow up as needed.
Okay, and thank you. And in education, is that a part of the congregate meal and home delivered meal programs?
Yes, both of them. For the home delivered meals, we give them education via personal papers, and that goes with the meal. And at the congregate dining, it varies, and we give group discussions. It might be preparation, how to prepare something. It might be a recipe. It might be a demonstration of something. It varies each month.
Okay, cool. Are these programs, does it cost a lot for these programs for someone to attend?
It's totally free.
Is it? And what's an age requirement? Is there an age requirement as well?
Yes, there is an age requirement of, generally speaking, it's 60 plus. However, there are exceptions to that rule.
Okay, cool. That's a wonderful thing. I so much appreciate all the resources that you provide in both Pasco and Pinellas County today, and thank you so much for coming on our show today. Please stay with us while we take a short break. As usual, don't forget to have your pen or pencil ready. During the break and at the end of our show, we'll be running contact information for the Pasco County Senior Services Division, Neighborly Care Network, and the Helpline.
James is 70 and a writer whose joint pain has been a story in itself. His doctor prescribed a new medication that may not be affordable, even with James's Medicare Part D plan. James called Shine. Shine volunteer counselors can guide you to money-saving prescription assistance programs, including a program that helps pay Medicare Part D plan costs for limited-income seniors. Shine costs nothing but could save you time and money. More information is available at 1-800-963-5337.
Welcome back to Aging on the Suncoast. During the first half of the show, Catherine Green and Diane Cunningham helped us understand who their agencies are and how they promote better nutrition for Pasco and Pinellas seniors. Let's move forward by bringing back Diane and welcoming Sandy Nairn so we can speak to volunteerism and their critical involvement in senior nutrition programs. Diane, thank you for coming back to the show.
My pleasure.
Glad you didn't leave.
Me too.
And Sandy, you're no stranger to the show. We've had you on multiple times, and you talk about some great points today. We talked about nutrition and volunteerism, and we're going to spend a little bit of time on volunteerism today.
Wonderful.
So Sandy, why do we need volunteers?
Well, we have lots of programs that need volunteers. One of them is our Meals on Wheels program, senior dining. We couldn't do these programs without our volunteers. They're vital to the program. If we had to pay for people to go out and deliver meals, I think we've calculated that it's about $1 million that it would cost us to deliver the meals if we paid for it. So they are a vital part of this organization, of all organizations that do Meals on Wheels.
That's quite a lot of money that they help us leverage on that, isn't it?
Definitely.
So they do multiple things around your agencies. Anything to add to, Diane, about the need for volunteers?
Well, not only for just home volunteers to deliver the meals and serve at the congregate dining sites, we use them in many different aspects: clerical, admin, outreach, special events, greeters at the centers. They do a number of things in helping prepare that meal and getting it delivered and then cleaning up afterwards.
Yeah, they're integral to the nutrition programs that we talked about a little bit.
Absolutely.
So if I was a volunteer, or if I was a potential volunteer, and I'm sitting home and I think to myself, you know what, I really want to pay it forward. What are some of the things that I should be thinking about before really engaging into being a volunteer? Sandy?
Well, time commitment, obviously. For us, our Meals on Wheels are during the day, so you have to be able to do that for us during the day. A lot of people who work can't do that for us.
You're right.
So most of our volunteers are seniors who can get out and do it. Our time period is 10:30 to 2:30, so they have to be able to do it during that time. Yeah. So, and you know, what do you want to do? What do you want to give back to people? Do you like working with seniors? Is it that type of thing? You know.
I think you're right. Yeah. I also think that we have some rigidness, but for a good reason. In the state of Florida, I think we have some background checks and things too. So someone really needs to think about their ability to have themselves checked out by Florida Department of Law Enforcement at that time. That's just a policy, but it's a good policy, and we want to make sure that we protect our seniors that we're serving to. Anything to add about what to think about?
To go along the lines, what Sandy was saying is we sit down with the volunteer before they start to volunteer and try to tailor what their skills are to what our needs are and match them up so that the volunteer is really doing something that they not only know how to do, but they enjoy doing.
Yeah. Should a volunteer be a team player at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because they're
You
definitely
need
going to be
that.
working with a whole lot of different people, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All different types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we find too that and there's been studies done on this, that people who volunteer are healthier.
Correct,
So if
yeah.
you get out there and volunteer, you're going to be much healthier.
Yeah, and I think we're going to spend some time on that. We're going to talk about the mutual positive aspects of giving their time, but also what they receive out of that as well. So I think Sandy alluded to a little bit earlier, but what types of people do you run across that generally volunteer for your organizations?
Many of them are the older population themselves. I know that even in our senior centers, those that come to the congregate dining site like to do special things at the sites. We have some disabled volunteers. All they might be able to do is wrap the silverware for lunch, but they're still a volunteer and they're contributing and they're giving back. And so that runs the gamut all the way up to admin volunteers who might help us out with outreach or do some clerical work or help us with client satisfaction surveys every year, and they may do the phone calling.
Yeah.
So those type of volunteers.
And so I heard, I'm sorry, predominantly seniors are the ones that come. So a like cohort is working with your clientele out there. And that's kind of a neat thing, I guess I can think about it in the sense that a lot of the stories that they may share are not going to be intergenerational, but they're going to have a lot of similarities into that. Maybe even the areas that they grew up and spent a lot of time in their youth. Sandy, I know that you had a program for a while that you were working with some corporate folks in
Yes.
Pinellas County too.
Yes,
Is there
right.
opportunities for that now?
There definitely is. Raymond James does a route for us. They let their people out to go out and do the route. Publix does a route for us. So any corporation, it's a team building thing for that organization too. And just to make their people feel better about going out and doing something. So they might have about 30 volunteers that they gather, and they only have to go out once a week to do it. So they might only go out once a year. So
Yeah.
it's not a big commitment of their time, but it's a very good team building thing for corporations to do.
Sounds like it. So if corporations are watching, they can get on board with Neighborly Care Network, or the county. Does counties have options for working with corporations?
You know, one of the partnerships we just started not too long ago is with ARC.
Oh,
And
is that an acronym?
it's American, I'm not sure what it stands for, but it's mentally challenged.
Okay.
And they're coached, but these volunteers of all ages, they deliver meals for us. And it's a way to help them earn some respect for themselves and be productive and giving back to the community. It's a way that helps us, absolutely.
Good. So that's a great way for engagement. Doesn't matter the population, right? Yeah. So like I said, if corporations want to pay it forward a little bit, there's opportunities in Pasco and Pinellas County where they can get together with either Neighborly Care Network or Pasco County Senior Services Division, and they can help a great amount of people that way. Let's spend a little bit of time talking about some intricate stuff. Let's go over what volunteer activities, and by program really, how volunteers play a role, let's say, in the congregate meal program. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. The volunteers on the congregate can, as I said before, might be anywhere from a greeter to somebody who cleans up the tables or sets the tables, somebody who cleans up before and after, somebody who serves the meals, and help pack the meals to go out on home delivery.
Yeah. Okay. And
And take temperatures, making sure the food's safe. I mean,
there's requirements in these programs?
oh
right?
yes.
As an area agency on aging.
Yeah, right.
I know very much about those policies
Yeah,
and
I'm
procedures.
sure you
But
do.
all that's, but we've highlighted the importance of not only having your paid employees, but there's a vested interest by the volunteers to make sure that your programs are offering healthy and safe food too.
We have one person at each site who's actually paid. Everyone else is a volunteer.
That's incredible. That's awesome.
We have volunteers that come in and entertain too. That's a very important thing. It's the singers that come in, or people who come in and do presentations for us on fall prevention or that type of thing. So we have a lot of volunteers who do that for us too.
That's pretty neat. If they have had a talent before, I'm sure they still have
Right.
that talent and they
Exactly.
can apply
And
it
they
right
love
there.
coming in and entertaining them.
How about home delivered meals? How do volunteers play an intricate role in that?
They provide that meal, that nutritious meal that's so much needed, but they also provide that companionship, that check-in, that are you okay, a type of thing. As I've said before, a lot of the seniors who receive those meals, the only social or outside contact they have beside the mailman is our home delivery driver.
Yeah.
We also partnered with Cindy's Pets, probably about now 3 or 4 years ago, where we found that the senior was sharing their meal that they get from us with their pet, their beloved pet. And so this great group of people from Genesis School in Newport Richey were able to gather and fundraise a lot of pet food for our pets. So we now serve over 300 pets. Some of them are dogs, cats, birds. We've fed a rabbit. But that's as far as it's gone. But they deliver that meal, the food for the entire month, once a month. And it's with their school kids and their parents and a lot of the teachers from there. So they're also looking for drivers because we do it all over Pasco County.
Yeah, another volunteer-based program. But you've highlighted the need that we talked about in the first half of the show. We indicated that their senior hunger is real, and that seniors have to make decisions on a daily basis of how they're going to apply a limited income or whatever food resource they have. And you just spelled it out right there, that many times they are taking whatever food they have and they're feeding their pets with it. So you both are smart enough to understand that and try to complement that with offering additional food for that pet so that senior can eat their own meal without having to feed Fluffy or the bird or the snake or what have you on that. And you're working with the Humane Society on
we
something
partner
like that,
with Humane Society. We get a grant from Meals on Wheels America, and we take that money, and the Humane Society goes out and they do flea treatments or heart treatments or that type of thing. So it's more than just food for us. We can do some treatment with the animals too. That's
great. So you said the key word in here, money, too. And I think we talked about it just the way you hinted at it, at least, that volunteers, because they can leverage our paid workforce to do the things that need to get done in there, that equates to $1 for our organizations. Can you guys speak to what that really is in dollars and cents?
It's over $50,000 a year for us in cost savings, and I look at it as leveraging and as a sort of a jumping board for all of us to pull our resources together monetarily and every which way you can think of to help feed these people. Yeah.
So volunteers are they're offering incredible services to other people. They're paying it forward. They're using. And sometimes in their retirement, they're offering a lot of their time to do that. They have to get something out of this as well. What kind of things are volunteers getting out of the volunteerism that they do?
And most of them tell me they get more than they ever give. So, you get very attached to that client. You're going out there and seeing them, at least once a week. So you're very attached. Yeah. And I know they're doing little extra things for them. I hear about it all the time. I had a volunteer who when he went to the client's house, the client would always ask, "What's for dinner today?" And he would say, "Steak and lobster." Well, one day our volunteer went on a Saturday and gave our client steak and lobster. So they get very attached.
What a beautiful story, Sandy. Sandy, Diane, thank you so much for coming on our show today. Hopefully people are watching this show, and if they have a desire to volunteer, they know what 2 agencies that they can contact to make that happen. We hope this month's broadcast was informative. We wouldn't have these resources without great organizations like Neighborly Care Network, the Pasco County Senior Services Division, and the volunteers that pay it forward every day. We'll see you next month, and until then, please make every use of the organizations we showcased today.
James is 70 and a writer whose joint pain has been a story in itself. His doctor prescribed a new medication that may not be affordable, even with James's Medicare Part D plan. James called Shine. Shine volunteer counselors can guide you to money-saving prescription assistance programs, including a program that helps pay Medicare Part D plan costs for limited-income seniors. Shine costs nothing but could save you time and money. More information is available at 1-800-963-5337.